So after reading Last Stop on Market Street, I decided to create like a 2-day lesson plan over the book. The title of the lesson plan is called Ready, Set, Name That Person. The title is based off the second day, but the first day is more the reading of the book, and then the second day is the activity that kind of relates more to the book. Something I got from the book was how I think it's asking or telling you the different types of people that are in our community and how diverse it can be and how like you need to like kind of absorb that all. So I thought that that would be a really good takeaway from the lesson and something to work on with the students. The other thing that I thought was a good takeaway from the lesson was how to be a good citizen. Because at the end of the book, they go to a soup kitchen and they help the people in need, which I think is a huge asset to being a good citizen in the community. The first day is based around that idea of being a good citizen and what it means to be a citizen, and then the second day is about the people who have made an impact on our society and helped our community in the past and how it affected our future. So I said for a good learning objective, and the purpose of the assignment where students will be able to recognize significant people who had or have positive influences on our community. They will also understand what it means to be a good citizen around our city. So kind of what I just said, but more formal. I think that it's a good lesson to do as a whole class, just because I think it's just a good discussion for everyone to see their points of view. I did decide to do it for a fourth grade class. I think it's more fun because they have a more good understanding of conversation and bigger topics. And I also did third grade for my last one. So like I said, the first day will be reading the book, and I will be asking them questions like, what do they think it means to be a good citizen? And also, what do you guys think citizen means? And can you guys think of anyone in our community who resembles being a good citizen? So the goal of it is for them to think of people around our community, so like the mayor or our teacher or the principal or a police officer or a fireman. So I will definitely help spark that conversation, and the whole idea is really just for them to understand what a good representation of a good citizen is in the community, and for them to also have a good definition for it. The second part of the lesson is where the title, the Ready, Set, Name That Person comes from. Since they have a good idea of what a citizen is, we would obviously go over it again the second day, just kind of a reminder. Do you guys remember what we talked about today? Can you guys give me a good definition of what a good citizen is? Can you guys remember some examples we talked about? And then I would go into saying, so today we're going to think of role models or people that have had a positive impact on our community and our country, and all the people that they will be researching will be pre-picked by me just to make sure that they are familiar with the names and it's nobody weird that nobody else knows. So the goal of this part is for all the students to have an assigned influencer from our society, and they will be looking at a book about that person and picking key topics that can help the class guess who it is. So the end goal, they will have a list of clues that will define who this person is, and then the class will be able to guess it. So I have an example of mine. I picked Harriet Tubman. So it says Harriet Tubman, and then I have 4 clues, and the goal of it is for them to guess who it is. So the first clue says, I was born into slavery. The second clue is, I was known as the conductor in the Underground Railroad. The third clue is, I made a huge start with the spark of women's rights. And the fourth clue was, I was a nurse in the Army. So all 4 of these, the first 2 are the giveaways, but the other ones are good things for them to think about, and also remember in their mind that this person really did have a good impact. So yeah, that was the goal of that one. And I would definitely spark conversation and make sure they're understanding the content. So making sure I'm going around the room and talking about and discussing with them who their person is and making sure they're on the right track. So another thing that I wanted to touch up on was what I said, checking for understanding and also questioning strategies. Like I said, what does a citizen mean? Why is it important to be a good citizen? Can someone give me an example of a positive citizen in our community? And I modeled, like I just modeled, how the game would go, so they also have a good representation of what to look forward to for the presentations. It's just kind of a fun, interactive way for them to all realize how diverse and how both girls and boys can have an influence on society, and how without them, things might not be the same. So some other people I picked were Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King and Abraham Lincoln. So there's African American girls and there's African American boys. There's presidents that were unlike any other president. So it is really exciting. So, and I think it's a good topic to cover for sure. And I think at the end of it, to sum it all up, I would make some key points to summarize the entire lesson for the day. So asking questions like things like, what have you taken away from this lesson? Or what are some key points in the book that you think are really important to take into the future? Or if you had a friend come up to you and ask you what a citizen was, could you define it? And then I would also say, well, let's say Susie is the student who raises their hand. Susie, what would you say to your friend that came up to you if they would be a good citizen? And make sure everyone takes away the important factors of the lesson, and understanding that it is a good takeaway and something to carry on for the future. And then to make them feel more connected, I would give them my favorite parts of the lesson and the key points that I think, so they are more open to sharing, which is really important because some kids are shy and some people might not understand the sharing strategy. So that was my lesson plan. For the last stop on Market Street.